live and do a new moon and full moon live reading. I'm definitely feeling the energetics around this new moon in Pisces. It's a big one. We have a big buildup of planets and the North Node all moving through Pisces. We've got Venus that's stationing and about to move back into Pisces eventually. So we're all definitely in this huge review around our worth and our values and our relationships based on our possibly newfound sense of worth and values. And it's pretty exciting. It's also deep and dreamy. Some of us might have to really face aspects of ourselves and maybe have difficult conversations. There's obviously talk with Venus retrograde, certainly, past people coming back, essentially any retrograde. Mars has just been retrograde and is now stationing, but it's like a sticky, whenever planets are stationing, there's sort of a sticky, it's not moving very fast. It's sort of hovering in this spot, like pulling back to then eventually start moving forward. So it hasn't quite got that momentum yet. So Mars is stationing, moving forward, and here we have Venus about to station and move back, and eventually Mercury is going to be joining good old Venus as well and moving back through Aries around those same areas, the first decan, I believe, of Aries. So it's great to be here with you guys. If you're new to the channel, my name is MJ. I've been broadcasting on the internet for a really long time, and I've been on my own spiritual journey. I'm a longtime yoga teacher and meditation teacher, and I work with clients online. And I've been pioneering the brand, and the pillars are sustainability, spirituality, and freedom. There's a series of very affordable online courses. My top tier patrons get access to those courses, and they also get access to the online yoga crew, which is just a playlist of yoga videos that I've created over the years. And then the grassroots, the kind of £5 patrons, they get the ad-free and exclusive access. I do deliver exclusive weekly readings for my Patreon community, and of course I get ad-free first access. And then the top tier patrons, they also get a 10% discount on private personal readings with myself and alongside the weekly readings, and certain intuitively guided shares I'll usually put out to my patrons first. And a lot of the patrons have been with me since really like 2017, 18, 19. Although early days I started making little lifestyle videos as early as 2012. So it's been a really long journey to create All to Love and to kind of integrate and establish some wisdom. It's been quite the journey. So here we are. I work with 7 decks. And again, tarot to me, like yoga, it's like we ourselves have the power. These external things, they don't essentially have power over us, but we're all working with symbols and synchronicities. And to me, it's really about embodying the teachings, right? Being able to love ourselves, love our neighbor, practicing surrender and forgiveness, and even the first couple tenets of a yoga practice to non-hoarding and non-violence and practicing compassion for self and other. It's all there, my lovers, and I'm increasingly witness that, having gone through a really what seems like a fairly long-winded shadow work stage of my life, where lots has been taken away, and yet there is stability and a greater sense of humility and awareness. Um, Seeing through the eyes of compassion, being able to anchor a compassionate heart really helps us to open our mind and see from many different perspectives, so we can actually kind of allow and accept and acknowledge what is, and yet also be open to positive change in our lives. And this brings me to this new moon in Pisces. So feel free to check out all of the different sites for All to Love. I am on Instagram, TikTok, and there is a shop. So I have a love brand, All to Love Apparel, and I've created things over the years, little tote bags, and some of the best sellers are like the Rainbow Love hoodies, and just lots more. So check that out as well if you want to support love or support the brand. I'm a very early bird. This has been the way for me since about 2016, if not before. I think because I taught yoga on retreats for so many years, I just have to be up at like 5 to get myself feeling fresh for 7 a.m. sessions with people. So it's kind of natural. It's a very like quiet and still time of day. So we're on February 26th. This new moon's energy is coming in now, but the actual new moon, I do believe, depending on where you are in the world, is happening tomorrow and the 28th. It is an extraordinary new moon to dream, and I mean like practical vision, imagination type of dreaming. Maybe journaling, right? Like get your journals out. I have journals everywhere. Just you never know when you might have to write something down. And then for some reason that's making me think of like subscribe to ultralove.com. So I send out monthly shout outs to keep you guys in the loop. Divine guidance and loving clarity. And we're getting into it. Divine guidance and loving clarity. But I am going to look at the charts. I offer a service with my tarot. So if you, there's a tarot option. I do think it's the more expensive one, like £50 perhaps, where I actually look at your chart, your transit chart, because that's what I've been tracking in my personal life. So I look at the different planetary transits and how they're aspecting us, and I usually look at like a 2-week, you know, maybe a month, but that's a lot of information, right? So looking at this new moon and then the transits that are coming up for the next couple weeks, or possibly like the few days or weeks before as well, depending on what intuitive hits I get. Long-standing clients that I've worked with yoga and tarot that are moving into wanting me to track their charts now are astounded, as am I, around like not like specific predictions, but like energetic insight and being able to somewhat prepare ourselves for what's on the approach. And then bearing in mind with the cyclical nature of astrology and really the truth, the kind of deeper truth of our existence here, cycles prepare us, right? And this is where in an evolutionary astrological sense, if we're moving in those higher base tones, again, love, compassion, empathy, we'd be integrating the wisdom from our chart. So certain aspects that would have been like really intense when we were younger, or shocking or traumatic, we move through them with grace. Okay, we move through as we get older. I'm coming into my 40s. I'll be 43 in April. I'm an Aries sun, so we can actually it's like we embody certain signatures that just end up making us stronger and more embodied. Whereas, 20 years ago, there was a lot more impulsivity, for example, which is the shadow of the Aries signature. Because I do have Aries and Mercury in, did I say that right? No, Sun and Mercury in Aries. And a bunch of squares and blah blah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into my chart, but what I'm wanting to look at is the actual exact time of this new moon in Pisces that we're all going to experience. And of course, Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, right? And it's a water sign. It's a female sign, and with this sort of pile up, with this huge surge of energy, this is where spirituality is coming more online, our magic, our imagination, the importance of our imagination, the importance of our emotional connections, right? Our feeling, sensing, because Pisces, everything is open to interpretation, but that being the final sign of the zodiac ruled by Neptune, you could say it is the most sensitive because it merges, it dies, it kind of blends into the whole. And to be reborn with the spark of life initiating all of that forward masculine initiatory energy, like the spark, the ram waking up, like charge, right? Want to move forward. So we have we have Neptune. So we've just the nodes have shifted from the Aries Libra axis. So there's a little bit of a highlighting energy of us knowing more of who we are, right? Knowing more of our own essential initiating spark energy. And that's lining up with Neptune, and then it's going to line up with Saturn. And so Neptune moving into that kind of Aryan energy is really going to like have us a little bit more grounded but charged around our dreams, because Neptune again has moved through its own sign of Pisces. This is all this idea of spiritual awakening and rising the consciousness of Earth, and right, some of this like what we might perceive as delulu, but like flip it and reverse it. What we're coming to the other side of is like it's the false matrix that is delulu. It's all effing delulu from a certain vantage point. When you access your individuation and your own creativity and your own autonomy from a spiritual standpoint, you can get far enough removed from the so-called 3D paradigm or the patriarchy or the world and be like, wowzers, we all be in our own delulu, or following these weird programs, which again are programmed of the mind and consciousness, which makes us act out a certain way and believe certain things. But once you've kind of unprogrammed enough of that, you can see that, oh, that word delulu has a certain, or it's delusional. It has a certain negative connotation, and yet there again is that double edge of the way we've used language to possibly shame um, esoteric or witchy or mystical practices, and yet the more of us endeavoring that or working with that, it really, as in, you know, the witchy or people, the new age, there's so many ways to shame and deny it. And yet you think of the church and you think of these sort of people are like, yeah, the Christian, but from that limited patriarchal structure, the church is pure ritual and ceremony and mysticism, the blood of Christ, and it's just so now, instead of giving power to authority and giving power to priests or giving power to an external, as individuals we embody that sense of power, but with grace, compassion, love, and empathy. And certainly as Neptune continues to move into these final degrees, hitting up with that north node, it's on, like this spiritual awakening is on for more and more and more of the masses. Why? Because increasingly these control systems are going to be en coup. They're going to be usurping or endeavoring to clamp down, which from one angle you could say is very, oh, this is very terrifying and scary. And yet, what has it not been? When has our experience on Earth as humans throughout the ages, the eras, the timelines, what have you, been polarized and been changey? Right? And so us beginning the new dawn of a new age is actually dreaming it up and embracing our autonomy and be bold. Why not dream up the best dream you can imagine for yourself, for your brothers and sisters, because we really truly are living in our own little perception, and yet being able to expand that perception so that you accept that there's infinite perspectives, like there are infinite dimensions and infinite timelines, right? It's accessing your own infinite eternal nature, and that is Pisces, and that is Neptune signature, right? So here we go. I work with 7 decks. I tend to change some of the decks just intuitively. It would appear to me that it's a seasonal thing. I'm looking at the collective divine guidance and love and clarity for this new moon in Pisces. We're going to look at the new moon in Pisces here. Just let's keep going just to give you an exact time. So I'm in the UK. Yeah, definitely the 27th into the 28th. And depending on how early you might wake up, we're looking at the kind of wee morning hours on the 28th here in the UK. 9 degrees. So there's been a sequencing around the 9th degree, or number 9. I'm almost certain that the last few new moons have been at that 9 number. Okay. Which may or may not be relevant. We're also now charging into our eclipse season. We know that eclipses can be pretty radical, you know, triggering some dynamic change, etc. Divine guidance and loving clarity. This is for the Ultra Love Collective, or anybody who is meant for these messages or meant to find us here on the sea of the internet. Just got an image of, like, you know, the rivers and they're turbulent. You like white water rafting and stuff, and how we're all just flowing through this river of life. Divine guidance and loving clarity here for the lovers of the Most High. Which, okay, so 3 of Pentacles right away is making me think of really grounding our energetics, possibly collaborating with other people, or being open to working with other people in collaborative effort to ground what we were talking about. It's the dream, right? And that can be different for everybody. But we will have been feeling it certainly this year, you know, end of January into February. Now we're at the end of February. This has been a very, like, expansive, but, like, at the same time quick turnaround in our psyche with regards to the dreams we might have had, the shifts that we're aware that are coming. And then as Venus comes into the retrograde, it will be prompting those changings of direction, closing of certain chapters, long-standing ones too. Like, we're looking at potentially up to like an 8-year cycle. And I saw somebody talk about, like, how that will, it's like we'll be releasing and receiving simultaneously as we're moving forward, and then asking for the new stuff. So things that might have been seeded 4 years ago or 8 years ago, or even 18 months ago, right? Depending on, again, your personal chart and the way things are aspected, right? Timings are different for everybody. So finding our power, finding our strength, seeding these intentions, and or seeing certain things sprout and manifest in our lives as well. There's conflict here. So there's a little bit of, and this could just be an internal mental battle. Like what I was sort of talking about this Delulu, or people being like, here, do you think you are? Or just our own mind, how it might doubt ourselves. This is why we're having to find a strength. Choose your faith and strength and vision rather than the little thoughts going through your mind. With the Queen of Pentacles, there's support here. I could even look at that as the mother energy. So Mother Earth is supporting us. This could be genuine benefactors and people that support you. Okay, that's, you can do what you like with the genders, especially in these general readings. But the Queen of Pentacles is like very grounded and supporting and loving and nurturing, and she's in the upright, and she's like, just keep your faith, my lovers. You know, don't listen to the naysayers. Stop, like, that's why meditation and stuff is so powerful. Thoughts and emotions are, they move. Awareness and intuition is fairly, like, stable. Do this. Okay, do that. Or then, yeah, horses, right? Like, our thoughts and our feelings flutter and move about, and that's the idea of, like, this that we're unconsciously programmed. It's only when we start to observe the nature of mind and how it's been programmed, and the actual thoughts that we're thinking and the things that we're feeling and how the thoughts and the feelings go together, and that we can start to unprogram that, right, through diligent practice, through deep shadow work as well. Like people say shadow work, I interpret shadow work. I published a book that was essentially me intuitively guided to shadow work, and then writing a book about it and just using my own language. And even before everyone was using trigger, I wrote trigger, wave, storm. When you hold space for a trigger, it's an opportunity to go into the shadow and then really see a deeper wound behind some of our more superficial patterns, right? And the superficial patterns are usually in the mind, oriented to blaming and attacking. You need to do this, right? Or it's because so and so, blah, blah, blah. And then again, basically, we can hold space for a trigger if we can process a storm, which is integrative for the shadow. I call it the karmic backlog, because most of us also have a certain amount of ancestral and generational trauma that we're healing. So that's like totally out of mind, really. You know, that's where we have to have the discipline to detach from the mental body and actually just let the physical, emotional body purge, process, let that shit go, because it's deep. It can be connected to, you know, I know from a few years back in 2020, I was going through some shadow work that was so deep, but there were moments of clarity that I knew it was some ancestral stuff, that I knew it was connected to the long line of a lot of women in my lineage that were adopted, abused, neglected, and even going right back into like early babydom, where the depth of neglect of just like the fear, essentially. And it was so painful. So it's good to be on the other side of that, thank the Lord. And then we're here in the new spaces sprouting, and this has always been my own vision, that like we would pioneer, and then people would land and set up healing communities, and then the more as a species we integrate the process of the shadow work, the quicker and more fluid it can happen for more and more people, because we're reintegrating. That's evolution. If you've ever watched like an evolutionary program with animals, when it happens to one, it happens to the whole. So we're all facing this sort of evolutionary timeline, or not. Or maybe you're somebody who's choosing like the transhumanism timeline, right? Or who knows, there could be lots of different timelines. I just want somebody who's like healing us into like a slightly more utopian and peaceful. People are like, you're such a hippie. I'm like, and yeah, I like trees and bees and insects. And oh, I had a dream about insects. I was in Bordeaux in France, and some of my friends here locally were also, and then there was like these like como centipede type insects like everywhere, and it was creeping me out. But at the same time, I know you've gotta roll with it. You've gotta, whatever. Divine guidance and loving clarity. What are the main messages here for my love of supreme? What is this Queen of Cups saying? You're interesting. So this is like a rising energy. I just got a little bit of shivers. I get that for some of you, this could be passing, as in there's an inheritance here. It's a greater spirituality, right? And so Queen of Cups, water sign, feminine, but again, do what you like with the genders. This could be a passing of somebody, and then an inheritance that comes through off the passing. Because the high priestess is a greater spirituality, a high priestess, somebody that's super tuned in to their spiritual quest or connection. But I also get like going to the high priestesses of the planet. That's maybe the queen, like the false matriarch or the false feminine, or people that once upon a time, when women is still the way today, but like when women had to like manipulate to get their way or whatever, that's the dying energy here. So there's a power play, there's a shift, but this could come through some disappointment, grief, maybe. The messages coming out sideways. Fundamentally, again, empowering us into greater creatorship, into greater dominion. Okay, Emperor coming through after that message of like, no. But it's like the trees that keep sprouting, right? The trees that keep sprouting, they go through the leaves fall every season, right? So we can see that generationally speaking, that the more and more of the generations that are losing their elders through death are coming into inheritance, even whether it's just the energetic inheritance or the actual physical pentacle inheritance. So some of you could be coming into some money here. There again, I'm looking at the Piscean energy. Dream it up. I just want a bit more. Sort of like what I was talking about too. But for some of you, it's actually maybe not a physical death, but an energetic, like we were just talking about shadow work, right? And doing a lot of emotional work. And another way I'm interpreting the Queen of Cups reverse would be like when we're in the emotional waters, which again, a lot of people could be in these emotional waters, especially with all this Piscean energy, right? And that can be connected to the wars that are going on. That can be connected to natural disasters that are happening. That could be connected to poverty. That could be connected to so many things where more people are like, yeah, why is this happening? And that for some, because there's greater stability, it might be a shift in that shadow, that emotional pain suddenly gets fired up. Which resonates somehow, like once we've excavated the shadow, once we've gone into the deep dark waters of our own psyche, at some point we're going to hit a new energetic timeline, right? And that's the Aryan energy. That's a fire sign. That's the Knight of Wands being like, already no, because the central energy of this reading for this new moon is to ground the ground, the ground, to really foundationally put those seeds on. Three of Pentacles in the upright to me is like really finally. So we've birthed an idea, we've got an idea, we've got the physical makeup to make the idea happen, and then we're balancing everything that could be represented with the shadow. Doing more shadow work, we're trying to balance all these new ideas and pentacles and whatever, and then finally we're manifesting other people that are going to help us to lock it in. The Trinity aspect, right? So there is the like we're well underway. It's been in the invisible realms for a long time. Okay. And I mean, there's a huge shift coming in, huge, because it's going from a 3, to a 10. So while some of you might just be working in secret with other people or a couple other people, eventually you're going to be building the building. Eventually you're going to be dancing the dance with lots of other people, even though right now you're just germinating the idea. You're just planting those seeds with other people, but physically planting them. It's not just in your head. It's like now there's a bit of investment. Now there's a bit of money coming in. Now we're stable. Again, Three of Pentacles to me is very much an energy of stability. Because as you anchor that stability, then another comes and you're like, okay, where do we go next with this? Okay, maybe we have to go through losses, but then you're charging and moving this energy forward. Being inspired after some deep and dark and probably certainly emotionally painful work. Because the spiritual energy coming in is all upright, my lovers. Magician upright. High Priestess. 10 of Pentacles. It's not major arcana, but it's a big influx of resources. Strength card. us, like, it's all upright. We're in this spiritual rebirth. And it's not being led by mind. Okay? This is like, words don't teach, vibration does. We're finally integrated and embodying the wisdom enough to allow it. It's coming in, just allow. Wait. Stop forcing. Stop trying to talk it out, mentally work it out. It's not where it's going to come through. It's just oh my G, like, this existence is truly divine. And one of the creators that I love on TikTok, her name is Star Lady Hedge, like, hilarious but wise and intelligent. Like, she's talking about the resistance, right? And this is like, and then weirdly, like, one of her posts yesterday completely landed in synchronicity with something. I was just like brushing my teeth yesterday, being like, and this is stuff I've talked to one of my pals about like ceremony, this whole life. And increasingly, it's like everything is a ceremony. Living and breathing and connecting and being. And we are in ceremony with the divine. What a blessing it is to be here. Right? And this is that long, Neptune has been moving through Pisces, being like, come on, you guys, get dreamy. Why? Why should we get dreamy? Because the false matrix and the control systems, or the elites, or the ruler, whatever word we want to call the sort of externalization of our personal power, that's the shift of the ages. Is the more of the masses claiming, pulling back, oh, sorry, that's not yours, that's mine. You don't have power over me, but namaste, thank you very much. So we pull it in. And those of us who have been doing this work for potentially decades, right, or lifetimes now, that energetic is establishing itself in the earth for real. And then we will be prompted, go. They're on a horse, like, moving forward, let's go. And the fire is the Aryan energy, the spark of life, the ram. Brand new baby rams. Go, move, right? It's time now. And then Saturn is going to help to lock it in. That's what I mean about that spark being initiated and the eventuality. We'll be back, okay? So again, every couple of weeks I'll be back here to do the new moon and the full moon live updates. And then would track it, certainly with my weekly Patreon and some of those weekly and daily shares. I did mention in one of my recent daily shares that I'm kind of scaling back. I'm posting less on Instagram. I'll endeavor to do like a weekly update for Instagram as well, but I'm not really resonating with Meta anymore. And I do like TikTok, but I've always been intuish. What are you gonna do? I'm not here to like fit into some. So I'm just kind of endeavoring to open up and flow. And yet I do think, every couple weeks I can show up live and share a little guidance for my lovers, people endeavoring their own loving, healing regenesis, right? As we go, so goes the world. Greater love and compassion. Any true empath knows how bloody difficult it's been just to stay here, right? And I really am here for the orphans and the people who genuinely and deeply want the world to be a better place for everybody. And the deeper the compassion, the more you can see. And a lot of these leaders right now are like, ideally as well, we are en masse, we can come away from worshiping celebrity and worshiping and idealizing the millionaires and the billionaires. There's nothing to idolize there. For the most part, a lot of these people that are financially and materially wealthy and successful, they're deeply insecure or wounded. Like, hoarding anything, and like having to have all the stuff all the time is a spiritual lack. There's no need for it. And like, it's not like I love the material world as much as anybody else, but when you understand how that comes about and the amount of enslavement and war and destruction that we're going to need to kind of continue to like keep having the stuff that we just end up throwing away, that we have no regard for. That's what I mean about ceremony and reverence and loving. You know, I'm a long time vegan, except I understand that death is part of life, and some people have that sacred connection with animals. But my whole point is like, if you're gonna eat meat, then you better face the slaughter, and you better be ready to like be with that animal when it's dying, and have respect for its life force. En masse, we've lost the connection. So not only do we not have respect for self, we don't have respect for the chain of events that comes with our gold and our diamonds, and the interconnectedness of the planetary outpouring and the delusion of these power structures, right? But we can only come to these realizations within self. You know, at some point it wasn't books and it wasn't nothing else except my own connection to my own heart and integrity, and like, again, a deep caring desire for the world. And all to love, my lovers. It's not all to the material gold. It's not all to the, you know, having more stuff so we can prove ourselves. It's all to love. Love. Your altar to God is your own heart. And then that connection allows us to be connected to others, to learn from others. I had a really inspirational encounter my last week in Morocco with somebody practicing Islam, and I just loved learning about his faith and about what he's doing in Saudi Arabia and different Pakistan and different parts of the world that I know nothing about. Or learning about what it's like for women of color or for people of different classes, you know, to humble myself. Because it's the connection that most of us are seeking, not the stuff. And if it is the stuff, there's probably some Delulu land going on. And by Delulu, in this respect, I'm talking about pathology and mental illness, right? As in, you know, people on a certain level can understand and see that people that are over politicized and people that are, you know, trying for all the land grabs and make America great again. No, don't. It was never really that great to begin with. But the land is great. And the First Nations and the people that are indigenous to the land and connected to the land are great. Already great. The Empress energy is coming through. See, this is also part of that shift. There's a lot of powerful feminine energy coming in, you guys. The Empress energy is a tree that grows connected to the moon. It's a 3. There's another 3. So I wanna say too, there's a lot of abundance coming through, as in there's a lot of resources as you claim your power, as you deepen your connection to intuition. Trust it, trust it, trust it, trust it. There is a lot of resources. And I want to say again, taking our headspace out of resources being purely monetary. Resources are people. Resources are stuff and things and places and information. Okay? And yet, I mean, yep, there's also money. For some of you, there's money coming in, because that you've got something to grow as you find the faith, as you continue to devote yourself with the Bhakti energy. Oh, baby. I just got shivers and like feeling almost like emotion. There's a shift into where, okay, I think like the majority of you, this isn't new. You have been connected to the divine and manifesting this for probably a while. You have been devoted to a cause for some time that's now allowing you to receive. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like, it's so freaking stunning and beautiful. Just keep grounded. Vata reverse. I'm like, just stay grounded, my lovers. Stay grounded, okay? day to day, breath by breath, moment by moment, stay grounded. Only same, I'm sure some of us have experienced this. When we get ungrounded, we can burn out. We're not clear. It's like the polarity swing of intuition, spirit, and blah, hala hala. It's neutral. If we're super excited making decisions, it's probably not going to work. If we're super low vibratory making decisions, it's probably not going to work. So I just like thought I'd finish that word. I'm like, in case you're new and are not used to my random jargon, the alta love lingo. Let's make light of very profound information, eh? Plus just referencing like pop culture, Hollywood, that's all gonna die out, you know, celebrity worship dying out. So, but also be aware of, when I say that about celebrity culture, be mindful of like, what am I talking about? Oh, cults. So be aware that, so if we're super hooked into that kind of Hollywood and these people and that person and whatever, and then we shift, be mindful of transferring that externalization of power into gurus or spiritual people. Yeah. What cults, and because that's the discernment of ego function and then coming into heart, trusting the divine, like God almighty. No, trusting in your divine connection as the source. Ooh, nice card. Fifth house is passion, art. So the really clear message here too for some of you is like, we are to continue to investigate your passions. What are they? What lights you up and turns you on? We get to know that passionate spell. Because truly that's part of our healing. The more we become more authentic and truly and like who we're here to be and on flow and living in that flow and creating in that space and with those people, the more fulfilled we are and the less we need. Truly, truly. We can, that's even a kind of process of overcoming addiction. We have to, thing is, like, we have to accept that these lower base tone addictions, some people might say coffee is one of them, but certainly things like alcohol and heavy usage of drugs, and if we're escaping our reality, we have to endeavor to fill our reality with a whole bunch of stuff that lights us up, because most of us are not born addicts, right? When we're little kids, we're just like, ha. We just embody until we get traumatized, until we have dreams that remind ourselves of our sort of past lives, maybe, right? Or we have experiences in our family system which traumatize us, which again, this is all part of the healing, is that to heal, to become more awake, to be more in love, you have to heal those. And I'm not saying that there's one right way, because I also recognize that sometimes these things come at a cost, right? Being more authentic and reflecting things or making requests of people doesn't mean we get what we want. From a spiritual version of self, we get what we need. But even that can be kind of a hard pill to swallow. Because in our own, all of us have the delulu, we can think this, we can project things, but it doesn't mean it's the truth. And it's the truth that sets us free. Right? Not the wanting things to be something, right? Running to control. And think about it, wanting to control people has a lot to do with taking away their resources and corrupting people's minds to pit each other against one another, thinking that's, and that's been the long-term dictum. That's been the way to control a lot of the masses on this planet. Divide them and conquer them. Make them hate one another. That's where love reigns supreme. If you recognize the unity within us all, and that's what namaste means in the yoga vibratory. See the light in me? It's the same light in you, my lover. I mean, I've also got a juicy light, shiny light. But that's part of a spiritual connection. For a lot of us, like whatever empath or seekers or whatever, that's what's pulled me. I renounced materiality when I was 19 and had the spiritual awakenings, thinking that everybody else is doing it too. But 20 plus years later, I'm like, dang, you guys, come on. You don't need the stuff. You don't need the Tesla. You need to just let go of it and come into the purity of your heart, because my God, that is the real source. That is the real juice of life. That is what gets us through. I'm not saying it's easy, but being enslaved to having endless stuff that's actually destroying the planet that we could actually live on, that's not working. It's not going to keep working. Why? Because, like, again, more people are waking up to it, being like, or the resources are being taken away, where we will, like, you know, again, some of the stuff we're seeing right now, it's pretty shocking. You've got the power. This is the Queen energy. And I've said it a couple times throughout this reading. There's a huge wave of I want to say the word I'm receiving is feminism. There's the Queen, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacle. And now, interestingly, the Queen of Sword and the Queen of Cups are reversed. So this is something about letting go of the shadow, releasing, purging, healing the shadow, which then also helps us dissolve our own manipulation tactics or abuses of power or generational healing. But the Queen of Sword reverse also is signaling that we're letting go of being dictated to by mind, old mind, having to, I've got to do it. I've got to control it. We're letting that go. Letting go of the program. And then it's the fire energy and the earth energy. It's the feminine energy, right? Well, that's the fire is masculine, but it's the earth energy. So allow it to manifest, ground, so that you can spark it into life. And the spark, a shining light, right? We are shining light. The earth is grounding her down. The empress will grow her. It's so dominantly feminine. You can, again, do what you like with genders, but I'm looking at the queen, all these queens, empress. And this is a new moon reading for the collective. So, and like this, she's to me a queen. She's a feminine energy in the strength card. These are feminine energies. And I'm not biased in that way. Like, we all have the masculine and the feminine within us. We all have the left and the right and the light and the dark, the Ida and the Pingala, right? So we're, and that makes me think of, we're coming into greater balance. That's part of integrating the wisdom. Yo, hey that way. Oh my God, I missed your comment there, Kurt Mills. Holla, holla, holla. If the truth sets us free, we're lied to about everything. Yeah. Don't doubt it, right? As in, and like, what a mystery. What a divine mystery. Like, just the awness, just being in awe of this existence, rather than that weird false matrix of this is how it is, and having to have answers for everything. And that's part of the peeling back, lifting the veil of the shadow of the Hollywood and the music industries, and holding space for these sort of political gestures and like techno deep seek and people that want to like control all the data and like get all hubby with the billionaire classes, and like, it's all just weird power plays and control, which from that spiritual perspective, there's just such a wound of insecurity and lack and sort of like the mother wound. Like, we're not connected to the mother, and so we're all like frightened, and then having to be like, no, I'm important. Look at how important I am. Like, look at the big buildings that I have to create, or the big businesses. Look at how much money I can make. Like, all that is, there's a lack, versus like the love is full. and uh, infinitely resourceful. Oh, makes me want to cry for some reason. Let's investigate our passions, my lovers. Investigate your passion as the queen that you are, you know, and then move forward. It's the aspect of us that can take action. That's my own personal masculine energy, showing up every day, moving through the world. And that deep dark feminine within me is the feeler and the healer and the intuitive and the right. And it's through the reclamation of my feminine energy that has inspired more of that masculine to keep going, right? Whereas there were times where when I was in denial of any of this really, or it was like an overworked masculine that was trying to suppress and deny the feminine, which was just making me sick and ending up in dangerous, shitty situations until I finally went, okay, what does she need from me? And that's my love for the planet, and that's my love for the people on this planet, and that's part of my own cosmic connection to the infinite universe and the cosmos, which I still like. I don't know. I'm still learning, just like everybody else. It's the Hollow Shazam vibratories. I just divine guidance and love and clarity. I'm holding this deck, so I'm gonna pull one more card from this deck. Right. Okay, the mentor. Some of us might be called to work with. Actually, that makes me think I signed up to a course. Twerk after work, my lovers. Some of you know I've been talking about wanting to dance a bit more, and it might sound like hella crazy, but I have tried twerking, and it's hard. I have a contemporary dance background and more like ballet and contemporary dance, and I've been on retreat, I've been on ecstatic dance workshops and stuff where there have been some girls that know how to twerk, and I find it spicy. And not to hypersexualize. This is about women reclaiming the empowerment of their bodies and moving in a way that can release trauma from our hips and our pelvis and reconnect us to the sacred or sacral. And I'm just doing I'm doing an instructor course for myself. Whether or not I teach it or anything like that, I'm not sure. I have no idea, but I might end up pulling it into my yoga practice for some of my clients who need to release their hips. Simple as that. But if you're interested, go look at twerk after work. Let me double check that actually. Twerk it. Is it worth it? We're gonna bang down, flip it, and reverse it. And the reason I signed up was pure twerk after work. Yep. So she's in London, and I met the founder. Like I had a quick chat with the founder to just double check, and then I was like, hell's yeah. And then she gave me a sweet deal. It's all like online. I can just learn as I go, and then do like a little course. I know, isn't it weird and wonderful? But here's the thing: is that deep within me is there's this sort of counter thing of like I fear that sexuality and blah blah blah. But I also know there's something I'm needing to kind of reclaim about my body and about moving, you know, in wholeness with the divine, not to be look at me twerking. It's obviously nothing to do with that. But maybe to overcome some shame myself or to heal some trauma in my own body, right? So twerk after work, London's best twerk dance fitness studio. And the woman that I met, her name was Banny, I think. Beautiful, beautiful, like divine feminine. And she's just similar to like my own yoga journey, but slightly shorter timeline where I think she said 7 years ago or something. She's just like working a 9 to 5, like, wowzers, does this ever suck? Like, this isn't going to work for me. And started setting up her like twerking after work. And then that just took off. Not like overnight, but it's taken her years. Like, just as I dabbled into the instructor course, she's like, you know, for years and years as I was here, and then this door opened, and then this door opened, and now I think she's got like 20,000 followers, and she'll get different corporate gigs, and she has instructors all over the world, you know, and that's like, and yeah, I just mad respect for people being guided to like make their lives better, and then they get to share that with other people, and anything that allows us to move and anything that gets us into our body, I swear to God. And she even, without me even saying anything about like what I'm into or what I do, she was like, yeah, people cry. Women have huge, and men have, but it's dominantly women at this point. Like they have physical, emotional releases by working it through their body. Just no different than somatic work or yoga practice. Like anything that brings us into our body that moves the energy. Maybe it's acupuncture, maybe it's something a bit lighter and more delicate, right? But that's embodiment work, is understanding the regenesis and the infinite intelligence of these physical vessels to not be denied. That's patriarchy for you. Like that's, don't feel your body. Don't. Okay, step in line. Just pretend we're all fucking robots. Like, no, no, no. Stop that now. Enough. Twerk after work, my lovers. If I'm kind of like, I've already got access to the course, but I haven't started any of the tutorials yet. But I'm almost like I'm readying my bod. I'm pretty sure it's quite a profound back workout. As much as your bum might be the focus, it's your back that works it for the twerks it. What? Where? Why am I don't know, but let's just flow. That's what we do. It's like maxing out the credit card just to get my twerk on. On private, okay? Or not. Maybe I will become a twerk instructor. Hey ho. In little North Devon. Oh yeah, but that's the girls who I somehow, I don't know, I navigated finding these girls in Totnes, which is an area in South Devon. It's about maybe an hour and a half away from where I live, and they're like pretty holistic, grounded, earthy, what people might call hippie type chicas, and they're running these twerk sessions, and I'm like, huh? What are they doing over there with their bodies? And kind of digging on it and connecting it to the healing embodiment. Just like I was trying pole dancing and silks, and I've kind of honed in on doing hoops and getting roller skating. Roller skating is fun and juicy. I really want to get better at roller skating, and yeah, just kind of moving through the world, being like, what else is fun? Because as a 42-year-old woman, life has been mostly really deep and painful and confusing, and I realize there's fun to be had here. Because I want more people to have fun and be in love. And anyway, final card, my loves. Oh, beautiful. I want one more though. It's the sound of silence. So, also I saw creativity. I saw courage or courage. That's the strength card. So some of us are just going to need some silence, some downtime, some rest time, because a lot of us are going to be overcoming some burnout and exhaustion. So give it some time. Let the sense of creativity come from within and or be inspired from without. That's part of a generator signature in human design. Like if you see something or there's an invitation, you're like, yeah. If you know it's being connected to the sacral chakra, right? If it's a hell yeah, we're doing it. Or just wait. No, that's not for me. Knowing self well enough to choose based on, what's coming in. I think that's it. That my lovers. Moment to moment, this card I look down at. And for some of you, there might be some connections coming in, some really, really powerful, loving connections, and inspiring that creative flow. Because we are here. That's it. We're here to create and have fun, I think a lot of us are getting bored and tired and kind of gacked out by the people who are like, we're in control. We tell you what to create. And it's like, don't. Stop being like that. Like, stop stealing the land and the water and stuff. Like, God, it's annoying. Love, love and light. But save it. That's the point. You don't, those people are not going to offer you the love and the light, but you can offer it to yourself. I can see a little bug creature. Holla, Shazam. Remember, it's all ceremony, it's all love. There is value in it all and in everybody, and like everybody's on their own journey, etc., etc. But I want to remind you all that you have the power, you got the love, and we are truly free. We are, you know, we are free. It's the truth. But we kind of gotta like feel into that and kind of work with it. Work it. You gotta work it. You gotta twerk it. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this new series of the new moon and the full moon readings, where obviously I'll have a little chit chat alongside. And if you want to join the Patreon community, my top tier patrons get access to the online courses, get exclusive weekly readings, and ad-free first access. And you can buy some love apparel. This isn't love apparel, but I have hoodies and tank tops that say love and ultra love on them, and there's baseball caps and baby wear and bags, and there's a whole bunch of, there's a sticker even. And I'm trying to think. And you can buy my book on Amazon. You can get Kindle and Audible. You can get it on Kindle and Audible, but you can get the hard copy from Amazon. You know, that's the best I could do with the resources I had. I'm not really into Amazon. I do actually endeavor to boycott them. I have probably ordered from Amazon a small handful of times, including buying my own book to give to other people. But yeah, there you have it. But there again, if you buy it from Amazon, I'll get a small fee from your purchase, and then you're still supporting a small creator whilst giving money to the yeah, but anyway, we do our best. I truly believe that. And otherwise, stay small and stay local. And since getting back from Morocco, I've been kind of like secretly proud of myself, as in I've only been shopping at local farm shops and local independent fruit and veg stalls. And the only thing I've gone to the big superstore for is some sparkling water. And I do know eventually, if I budget right, I can probably do without it completely. So yeah, but to each their own. I get it. It can be tough to make those kind of. I mean, like, in fairness, it's taken me the best part of these 10 years to kind of get to this point, and it really is miraculous in a sense. If we just keep intending, we'll kind of be able to make those changes that suit us and that align with our heart and soul. Happy new moon, my lovers! Happy new moon. And another intention is like not shopping. I haven't bought. Have I? I haven't bought any new clothes this year. No, that's a lie. I did buy one top. But that's another intention I have, is to not buy any new clothes at all. Just keep wearing what I got. And I sometimes, like, I'll sleep in this and I'll teach yoga in this. I'll just wear my gym jams all day every day. It's like, that's great, MJ. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I wish everyone peace and joy and happiness and friendliness. And God, I've never quite had enough care or concern about fashion. And again, that world, because it's kind of the underbelly of all of that is like slave labor and ruining the planet and just fueling this weird fashion. Oh God, it's just let's get real. And yeah, usually, I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't care. The people I love, I don't care what they're wearing, as long as they're like loving themselves and looking after themselves. That's the legit juice of life. Okay, thank you for watching and listening, my internet friends. Again, I'm not on Facebook anymore. If you are on Facebook and you want to share this with your Facebook friends and family, then feel free. That would help me out. If you liked this video, please give her a thumbs up and subscribe and follow, and just help a sister out by sharing. I would really love to share more with more people. Yeah, so holla Shazam, have a wonderful new moon in Pisces, set those intentions, trust in the divine, trust in your own heart's connection, and I'll see you real soon, you guys. Take care. Peace out.